Y'all, Daddycop was pretty good. It was good for Zoe and kind of getting a feeling of her background and like who she used to be, because we've never really had much of an idea of who she was before. She's always seemed random. We get this reference back to Soul Crusher, the episode where Zoe is introduced. We actually continue that storyline here, and we not only got information about her, we got Sabrina character development, her being introduced to the school friend group and stuff. This episode was just really cool for Adrienette. Adrien being kind of a stronger character, as we'll get into. We're seeing Marinette be more insufferable. Is that too strong of a word to use? I found the storyline overall pretty pleasant and pretty entertaining.
And let's just hop into this episode.
Arch leap and do a barrel roll!
We get our first look at Chloe. Selah Victor is back in the recording booth, and she ate these Chloe lines. The honeycomb jacket? What? She looks really good, and I appreciate the glow-ups happening in this season. Chloe's in London, and she's talking about how great her life is, and that she needs a new minion because her last one was not very good. And I'm pretty sure Chloe is not having the time of her life.
Based on Revolution, because Marinette said, when we pull up, you know it's a shutdown.
I'm pretty sure she's lying. And I really appreciate the fact that they portray the character's emotions, depression or isolation. I like how they don't just brush over things. They're actually giving Sabrina this time in the spotlight, and pretty nice if I say so myself. Finally, Sabrina has taken out the trash. I guess that was really Sabrina's goodbye to her fake bestie. Yeah, so it's just really hard for Sabrina in this episode because she's struggling to find a place to fit in. And I really feel for her. She just had Chloe as her friend, which was not a good influence on her. I like how they take time to flesh out her character and not brush over everything that's happened. That's one of the highlights of this episode. And here we go. We're gonna get Marinette, and she's talking about planning a romantic evening for her 100th kiss with Adrien. And apparently, today is a very special day, as her mom has told her, because... Hold on, let me read my notes. The Huyton star is in conjunction with Jupiter. What in the astrology does that mean? Apparently, their relationship is going to be better because of it. She's just a little bit obsessed. Oh, this girl, please help her. Please, somebody help her. Someone in Paris, go find her. And if someone could, play an older sister role, I think that would be good for her. But it also makes sense because, she's been pining over Adrien for so long. She's young. She hasn't had a lot of experience with dating yet. I understand. I just sometimes I'm like, girl, please. Here we're introduced to the friend group at school, in which they're all very excited for a movie night. Marinette rushes into the cafeteria, pulls Adrien aside, and I'm like, what? The confidence with Adrien. It's just such a drastic contrast. Did Illustrator really change her character that much? Or I don't get it, because if she's almost had 100 kisses with Adrien, what was the point of Illustrator? Why was she nervous around him if they've kissed that many times? I don't get it. But anyway, I love seeing Marinette be so comfortable with Adrien. I really like that. And Adrien just goes comfortably in for a kiss until Marinette stops him. Little does Adrien know she wants their 100th kiss to be tonight. So he just gives her a kiss on the cheek, which is still very cute. Y'all know I love the romance of this show. That's the only reason I'm watching it.
And Marinette pulls out her tape measure to take measurements for a suit for Adrien.
I thought we were done with the tape measure, Marinette. Adrien really is one of a kind to put up with Marinette's antics.
Marinette's friends come up to her and are like, are you ready for our monthly movie night at your place?
And then Marinette's totally shocked. Kagami's like, you forgot, didn't you? You forgot about our movie night. Bro, Kagami is so good. We need her character. And Marinette obviously is trying to cover it up and be like, what? And in the cafeteria, Sabrina has been sitting by herself. And honestly, this scene just touched my heart so much because Zoe just stops what she's doing to go and talk to Sabrina. Zoe is really the only one that notices. This was just so kind. And then we cut to Marinette, who is still measuring Adrien. So Adrien's kind of like, girl, did you forget about your movie night? And Marinette makes up this excuse that she's gonna mix their date night and the movie night and make it into one spectacular night. This scene is like really, really healthy because Adrien actually rejects Marinette's proposal. He's like, I'm not going. And she's like, what did you say? Even later in the episode, she asks him again, and he was like, no, like I'm not going. He does it in a very, very polite way. He is such a nice person. But the fact that he didn't go along with Marinette's plan? What? Wait, this is so good for Adrien. Y'all, he loves Marinette and adores her, but he still has to put up boundaries and be like, girl, we're not doing that. Just really, really impressive. Cutting back to Zoe and Sabrina, this scene, just one of the best scenes of the episode, maybe. Sabrina, she has this fear, right, that she won't be able to connect with the other girls, and it's just so realistic because of her past with Chloe. And I just really like the way they portray anxiety in Sabrina. At least that's the way I interpret it. I see it as anxiety. This scene actually allows us to connect with Sabrina so well and easily like forgive her character. I just felt for her so bad. Again, I'm glad they didn't just like bring Sabrina into the friend group and be like, no explanation, she's here. No, they were like, let's give this some background. At this point of the episode, I was having a hard time watching it because I knew what was coming next. Maybe because I watched the Daddycop trailer, but I had a very good idea of what was going to happen in this episode. It all starts with Zoe being like, maybe you can come to Marinette's house for our movie night. And I was like, oh no, I already know what's gonna happen. Again, Marinette like requests Adrien to come to the movie night, but the way he turns her down is actually so kind. He just wants to respect Marinette and her friends. Marinette pushes him away again. You gotta have the 100th kiss tonight. But the misunderstanding that this can cause, like, I understand Marinette, but also this was just so hard to watch because I was like, Adrien does not deserve this. He doesn't know the context, Marinette. Like, he doesn't know what you're thinking, bro. This scene just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, girl. And I just really liked Zoe in this episode. It was so beautiful of her to try and understand and see the good in others. Zoe is the MVP of this episode, let's be real. Anyway, so Zoe wants to invite Sabrina over and she asks the girls, and basically they're not very excited about Sabrina coming, and she goes to ask Marinette, but Marinette has like her own thought process going on. She has a one-track mind right now, and it is about her and Adrien. There's just a total misunderstanding. Marinette is like asking the girls like, can we invite someone even if they don't really like fit the norm? And the girls are like, yeah, like, and so they think she's talking about Sabrina. Marinette thinks they know that she's talking about Adrien, which I don't know how they know that. And then Zoe is like, oh yeah, Marinette is cool with Sabrina coming, so I'm gonna invite Sabrina for realsies this time. Here's where we get a look into Zoe's past, starting in the scene, which I really love that they're bringing this back up and not just moving on from this. Of course, Sabrina is like ecstatic. She's like, oh my gosh, thank you. Sabrina is like, oh, you're a good girl, Zoe. But Zoe is like, you know, looks pretty sad, kind of like self-reflective. As we keep going in the episode, we'll kind of see like what this means. All right, so Sabrina's like really excited and is like, Dad, we gotta go get all my stuff for the sleepover that I'm attending. And then she's like, I gotta get my toot-toot whistle. What is that? What is the toot-toot whistle? I don't understand. And like, why did they bring this back? What is the purpose? So now Marinette is on her balcony with the binoculars being like, maybe Adrien really will show up even though he said he wouldn't. She hears the doorbell and it turns out to be Sabrina. This is one of my least favorite Marinette scenes. Oh my gosh, y'all. Well, I gotta talk about it. I can't just end the video here. Sabrina shows up for the movie and Marinette is like, oh, who invited you? Oh my gosh, this has got to be one of the worst Marinette scenes I've ever watched. I want to like speak in defense of Marinette and not just like poop on her character. Marinette is a good person. I mean, she obviously is young and her focus is keeping her relationship with Adrien healthy, and I understand that, but oh, the way she went about this was terrible. It was absolutely dreadful. I just wanted to poke my eyeballs out. She didn't even say like, hey Sabrina, like, what are you doing here? Oh, well, come on in. I don't know, at least like do something that doesn't make Sabrina feel microscopic, you know? And then Marinette goes blabbering on about astrology again. We don't care. We literally don't care. If I was Sabrina, I would literally run away crying too. I would be like, bro, everyone dislikes me. This sucks. Sabrina calls her dad and is like, this party was an L. And the truth comes out to Marinette's friends, like, oh, I actually really wanted to invite Adrien, not Sabrina. But Sabrina is so good. Her qualities are impeccable. She rejects Chrysalis, which love that. That is so good for her. But as we know, Daddycop 2.0 is here. And guys, this is so cool because this is one thing Chrysalis did that Hawkmoth didn't, is she asked him, like, what do you want me to call you? She really gives them the creative freedom, but maybe she shouldn't because he really said, call me Daddycop. I'm sorry, how old are you, sir? That just docked the episode like 2 points. Yeah, guys, the design is very, very much like Daddycop. Not much changed. Daddycop's power is to make everyone see Sabrina the way he does. Which, I mean, that's kind of sweet, y'all. That's kind of pure. The zombie zoo flashbacks that I get, oh no. I just struggle with this part of the episode. Y'all, regardless of Cat Noir being hit by an anti-Kuma this episode, the old Cat Noir is kind of peeking through. And honestly, the Cat Noir jokes is giving me life. He's giving season 1, y'all. Sabrina wants to renounce her miraculous and is like, oh, I'm not worthy. But Ladybug is like, no, like you're awesome and blah, blah, blah. The contrast with Ladybug in this scene to the Marinette that rejected Sabrina at the door is night and day. The Marinette that we just saw, like that felt very, very unfamiliar to me. Miss Hound calls up Max and I was very surprised to see Pegasus again. I think Max is really an underrated character. We need to talk about him more. And we just need to have a moment also to appreciate Roger because he's a really good dad. He's a sweetheart. I really don't like the villain name he chose. However, he's a really good person. Lila's back in her lair. I'm getting flashbacks to the London special. There Nuru goes, falling on the floor. The mistreatment is actually insane. Anyway, Sabrina is welcomed into the friend group. Marinette takes accountability for her actions. And you know what? Marinette has been making some mistakes this season, but I am all about forgiveness, and I just hope this leads to lasting character development. That's all I'm asking for. Surprisingly, Sabrina has a new look. Now, the shoes, the pants, cool. It even looks like she switched from a choker to a brooch. The only complaint I have is really the hair. I don't really like the hair, okay? She looks so good for the whole episode, and then we get pulled with this. Honestly, the Adrienette in this last scene is so pure. She's so comfortable with him. I don't really know what happened in Illustrator, but the season 5 Adrienette is kind of back, I would say. Yeah, so Marinette's like, oh, we don't need any of these silly things that I've been talking about to love each other. The PDA, y'all. They're very kissy in this episode. I was like, oh my gosh. And then here is our end scene, which this is where we're going to get into the Soul Crusher storyline. Like, finally, we're getting some background on Zoe. She feels less like a filler character now, and like, she's actually becoming a more well-developed written character. So she comes out of the bathroom and there's this guy. He has hair for days, like, he's using Pantene for sure. So this guy's name is Ray. He has some connection with Zoe back in New York. And he has like all this evidence to blackmail her with and kind of show her true colors. As said in Soul Crusher, Zoe kind of was forced to play this role that she didn't want to play. And when she went away from the life she was living and tried to become a better person, people turned against her and threw cockroaches in her locker, which is why he calls her Cockroach as a nickname. Ugh. It's not said specifically in Soul Crusher, but this really adds to the idea that Zoe was, I believe, like a bully. Kind of like Chloe, except Zoe changed and had that change of heart and knew it was wrong and wanted to better herself. And based on what we saw in Soul Crusher, Zoe was able to play this like mean character really well and like pretend to bully Marinette to gain her sister's favor. So she potentially was like a bully. And I don't know what Ray is doing here in Paris, but he has some tea to spill. I can't wait to see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really enjoyed this one, and The animation is slowly becoming more normal to me. Y'all are great. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time. Lazy out.